So today is not only the last day of August, but it is Richard Gere's birthday, one of my personal year holidays. I feel like it should be a day off work so I can only watch Richard Gere movies on Richard Gere's birthday, but that's not how the world works. So I just posted a lot of Richard Gere movie pictures all day, and then came home and watched a Richard Gere movie that I had been saving for this very occasion. This was 1983's Breathless, a remake of the 1960 film by Jean-Luc Godard. And this is by Jim McBride. Jim McBride also did The Big Easy. I absolutely love The Big Easy. I have seen The Big Easy so many times. You don't even know how many times I've seen The Big Easy. I'm looking at his filmography. I feel like there's others on here that I should have seen by now, and I haven't. But if you haven't seen The Big Easy, Dennis Quaid's butt. That's all I gotta say. So in this film, you get Richard Gere's butt, which is always good, and some full frontal. Which, if you look at the history of full frontal male nudity in mainstream Hollywood cinema, that traces all the way to Richard Gere. He was the first big star to be like, you know what, I'll let it all hang out, and then he did in a lot of movies, including this one. So this is the basic premise is the same as the Godard Breathless, wherein an older man and a younger woman sort of have a thing, but it's undefined, and the older man jacks cars and then gets into kerfuffle when he accidentally kills a policeman, and then tries to get the younger woman to go with him. That's the plot. And spoiler alert, the ending is the same. That's the plot of both films. However, in this version, Richard Gere plays Jesse, who is sort of a drifter who is just I don't even know how to explain like his character or the way he plays him, but he's just one of those guys that like does not give a shit about anything. He's very nihilistic and impulsive and high energy at all times, and maybe thinks he's better than everyone, but definitely just thinks that a good time is better than anything. He is leaving Las Vegas. He's supposed to steal a car, bring it back to Los Angeles. However, he accidentally speeds. Well, he doesn't accidentally speed. He speeds. A highway patrolman catches him. He accidentally kills the highway patrolman and goes, oops. And then goes and finds his girlfriend, who's not really his girlfriend. It's just a woman that he's obsessed with. And what I kind of liked about it was that they showed how kind of creepy his obsession is. And you understand why she sort of is lulled in, even though her like instinct is to push him away, because he is really fucking creepy. But the attraction is so hard to deny, and it's Richard Gere, so like, how are you going to deny it? You know, this film is gloriously superficial. There are like shots of the car, you know, with rear projection. There is amplified lighting in a bunch of scenes where it's super red when they're in the desert. The wind is stronger than it really should be, but also the Santa Ana winds can get pretty windy. This character is also obsessed with Jerry Lee Lewis and the Silver Surfer, and it leads to some interesting things like a cover of a Jerry Lee Lewis song by the band X, and Richard Gere's character arguing over why the Silver Surfer is actually a really cool dude with a teenager who doesn't understand why he doesn't just leave. And it shows sort of that the way that love makes you do crazy things, and that the Silver Surfer has a love for this planet, and keeps trying to save it, even though they don't quite understand it, and he should really just leave. And that's sort of how they're feeling or how the Gere character feels that he is as well. He is not the Silver Surfer, but a lot of Americans tend to think of themselves as these superhero type things. It's an issue in American society, probably because we were raised reading comic books, and so I found that really fascinating. The sort of weakest link, and she's often cited as the weakest link, is Valérie Kaprisky as the woman of his obsessions, Monica. However, I don't think she's as bad as people, you know, write her off as. There are some moments where I really see why she was cast, and the allure of her, and the way the camera can really fall for her. It's in that sort of creepy, gazy way where the camera. There are moments where the camera just loves her and the way she looks, but then when she tries to speak, it doesn't quite um, translate as well. Um, what else did I like about this? Obviously, Richard Gere has an amazing wardrobe in this film. He's coming off of American Gigolo, which is like maybe my favorite male wardrobe of all time. Only Richard Gere can get away with some of these outfits, is pretty much how I feel. But boy, does he get away with them. This movie left me breathless, much like the title, and much like he says that Monica makes him feel. It's just a movie that grabs you and runs with you, and it's just a cool film. There are some sequences that are just absolutely gorgeous. Um, there's a moment there's a moment where they're in I want to say Venice, and there's all these beautiful murals, and I gotta say it must have been inspired by Varda's Murmurs, because that was 1980 and this is 1983. And I feel like someone like Jim McBride would have seen that film and played homage to that. And in Reservoir Dogs, I think it is, Quentin Tarantino has a reference to The Silver Surfer, which is a reference to this film because he loves this film. I really recommend this. I wouldn't compare it to the original. It's inspired by, but it's really its own thing. It's more like when they do versions of Shakespeare, like how Clueless is Emma. That's not Shakespeare, but that's Austen. But I was going to say how 10 Things I Hate About You is Taming the Shrew, and Clueless is Emma. It's kind of like that. If you look at it like that, like a reinterpretation of an original story, I think you'll be less likely to try to compare it, because you shouldn't. But also, I now really just want to buy a bunch of Silver Surfer comics. I love them. When are we going to get a good Silver Surfer movie? I keep waiting for that. It'll happen. This is Jim McBride's Breathless. You should really check it out. I think it's on Blu-ray. You can also check out The Big Easy. Look at Dennis Quaid's butt. I recommend it. That'd probably make a great double feature. This one is from 1983. This is Breathless.